Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for Bramble Fox. And for this layout I'm using the Vintage Memories Perspective and also some of the bows and candy canes, shiny stars and holly and berries perspectives too. So they're all little embellishments that are too cute to miss out on. So for this layout, I'm using a very vintage photograph and I'm also using the Vicki Boutin Warm Wishes Christmas collection. So I've decided on the circle paper at the top with a little bit of red underneath, and I'm going to cut out all these baubles from this paper, which I do off camera. I always tend to do all my fussy cutting in front of the TV or on a car journey. So I cut those all out and I've decided I want to add a pop of red between the circle paper at the top and the baubles that I've cut out. So I'm just going to tear the edge of this paper. I'm not going to cut it down just yet. I'm just going to overhang it at the top of the cardstock just while I figure out where I want everything to go. So this photograph is from just after Christmas. So it was Christmas of '69, but I think the photo was actually taken in the January of 1970. So it's not a great quality. It is a scan. It's not the original. I have scanned it, but it's got a very yellowy look to it. Can't help that. It is the way it is. I've kept it in colour, and I'm going to use it regardless anyway. And while I'm laying out some of these baubles, thinking how I want them to hang underneath the photograph, I'll point out that I am the one in the middle of the photo. You can't really tell much by the outfits, but I'm the only girl. And yes, I'm standing in my grand's house. And I do remember this vividly, particularly the china cabinet on the right that was full of things we weren't allowed to touch, and all the cards on the wall and strings. And what about the tree? Can you see the tree in the photo? It's one of those tinsely trees. So that's kind of where the inspiration for this layout came from. So I've trimmed the paper at the top so I now know how big I want it to be and where the decorations are going. And I'm just looking at adding some ephemera either side of the photograph. And I found a little postcard, and that is where I'm going to pop my title, which says Vintage Memories. And these certainly are vintage, the memories I have looking back at this photograph. But I do remember when everybody had tinsel trees. The other reason the tree is on a bookcase is my gran had a dog and she preferred to have the tree up so the dog couldn't get to it. So I'm going to, I've stuck the top paper down and not the red piece, and you'll see why in a moment, because I want to bring in a stencil. I kind of want to represent the tree underneath the baubles that are going to hang below this photo, but I don't want to use all of this stencil. I don't want to use the pine cones. So I've got some post-it notes. I don't know whether you've seen me do this before, and I use these as a way of masking part of a stencil. In the past, I used to use washi tape, but I had a few disasters when I managed to actually tear stencils trying to remove the washi tape afterwards. So for me, I found that post-it notes seem to work best. So I'm just opening a few Distress Oxides there just to see what colours go with the circles in the top paper. And obviously I want them to be greeny, bluey colours to actually fit in with the idea of a Christmas tree. So I'm just coming in with a brush and I'm gauging where the decorations were in the bottom part. So I know that they're in on the left hand side there of the layout. I'm bringing in another darker colour. Some of the oxides aren't coming up as dark on the cardstock as they look on the pads. So but I want them to be a reasonably strong colour. I know that it's actually just the background and the decorations are going to go over the top, but I still want to have that sort of tree feel. Now, I'm not the bravest mixed media artist, but I do really enjoy stenciling. There's no water involved, and essentially it's just a piece of cardstock. If it came to it, I could remove that piece of pattern paper at the top. I'm not going to damage anything, and so the idea is I'm actually just going to enjoy mixing some of the colours. I've got a brush for each colour, so I don't really mix them up, but I'm blending them through the stencil. just to get the branches to look different colours but to be tonal with the paper at the top. Halfway through, I think a bit later on off camera, I actually rinse the stencil and then I turn it over so that I've got the leaves, needles going the other direction, if that makes sense. And I'm just having a look because I want to fill in all the gaps. I want there to be a little bit of white space between them, but I don't want any big gaps. So I'm just having a think as I go along and adding various colours. So I brought in another bluier colour. So that is it finished. That means now I can add the red piece in underneath the circle piece at the top, and that means that there's no gap between the stenciling and the pattern papers, and that's why I kept the red one out to start with. So I'm going to go back, put in the baubles into place. I'm going to put some of them down with foam just to add a little bit of dimension. Now I want to decorate the baubles, and this is the perspectives that I mentioned right at the very beginning that I'm going to bring in. So I'm going to use some bows from the Bows and Candy Canes set. I'm also going to use some of the holly leaves from the Holly and Berries, and I'm going to use some of the shiny stars. I'm not going to decorate all of them, but I am going to decorate some of them. The bows sit beautifully. I think they're my favourite. They're beautiful, particularly with the etch finish as well. And I end up using 3, one of each colour on this layout. So if I didn't say before, this stencil is number 108 that I've used. It's in the November Fox box for 2024. But it will be available sometime later on in the Bramble Fox shop, and you'll be able to check that out at bramblefox.co.uk. So I do recommend checking out all of the seasonal goodies that are in store. There's definitely autumn at the moment, and there'll be Halloween and Christmas as well. So loads and loads to choose from. Obviously, if you don't already subscribe, do check out the Fox boxes and the Fox Box Plus as well. I've used glue dots to stick the perspectives down in place, and then I come in with some dark navy thread and I add some thread with a needle to all of the baubles to make it look like they're actually hanging from the photograph above. And it's just one long stitch for each one that I put into place. And I think that gives it a pleasing look, and I've fed the threads behind some of them. So that is pretty much there. But then I noticed some tiny like foam dots on the Alpha set or the Phrase set, and I add some of those in the colours that I've used between the decorations just to add a little final flourish. I've added the a little area on the left so I can add the date for the photograph. I'm going to write down the few memories that it's sparked on the back, because they really did make me smile, and I don't want them to get lost. So I will add them there. So that's all the dimension that I've created. Thank you so much for watching this video. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and do check out all the new perspectives in store. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Sheena Rowlands, and I hope to see you here again real soon. Bye for now.